Hi guys, this is Chris with IPGRentals.com, and today we're going to talk about the DJI Mavic Pro package that we offer, and also a quick tutorial to get you in the air quickly. Let's check it out. So what I have in front of me right now is the DJI Mavic Pro package that we offer at IPGRentals.com. So we start off with 3 batteries, the DJI Mavic Pro itself. On the inside, there is a micro SD card that comes with it as well. We have 4 ND filters. We have the controller. And we have the controller and battery charger. So let's get this thing started. As you can see, I'm going to put it right in my hand, and you can see that it's about the same size as my palm, which is absolutely incredible, thinking of how far we've come in the past just 4 years. This drone has 4K capability, and it is extremely small, and it's astounding how well this thing flies in the wind as well. So I think it's really good for travel, especially since you can put this into a cargo pocket of your pants, or you can put it in a small backpack. You know, that's definitely a benefit as opposed to the other larger drones, which you have to wheel a large case behind you to take it to your location. So this thing, I think, is one of the most versatile drones that you can possibly buy. So just to show you how easy it is to get this thing ready to fly, let's take a look. You're gonna do is you're gonna flip out the front wings, and then you're going to, from vertically to horizontally, you're going to flip out the backside, and just like that, you have the 4K flying machine ready to go. So before we get the controller on and the bird on, let's take a look at how we free the camera. So right on the outside, you're gonna see that there is a rubber housing that protects the plastic that goes over top of the camera. So you go ahead and remove it, and you can see that there's a little groove right there that when you push it up against here on this side, that it'll attach to the plastic. So you take that off. And to remove this, you don't pull it straight out. You have to push down on this forward, and then you pull it down, and that releases it. So you go ahead and push like this, down, and then out, and then you have your protective housing out. And then the third tier of this protection situation is you're gonna rotate the bird up so you can see it. And it is this piece of plastic that is underneath. And what that does is it keeps the camera from wiggling and hitting the inside of the protective plastic shielding. So to do that, it's very simple. All you do is grab it on each side and you pull, and there it goes. So now you can see this baby should have a nice little wiggle to it. You wanna make sure that this, the piece of metal that's on the sides of this frame, do not go up over the top of the actual nose of this here, because that'll go ahead and lock in a really, really crooked image, and the gimbal won't work like it's supposed to. So be sure that everything is in there and it's got just a little bit of wiggle to it so it's nice and free. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this puppy back down. Okay, so before we set up the controller, I just wanna show you guys really quick where the micro SD card goes. And it's actually gonna be in a little slot right here. And all you do is you push that puppy down, and on the inside you'll see there is a little slot for the micro SD card. And you'll turn it face down, you'll put it back in, and then you'll slide it up, and just like that, there is your media storage. So let's take a look at the controller. It's really lightweight, it's really small. There's an LCD screen here which gives you information just in case your phone were to die or anything like that. I like the fact that it has an LCD screen that tells you your distance away, just in case you need to know any of that information, just in case there is, again, some sort of a lapse between your phone and your tablet. You have all of it heads up right in front of you. So you go ahead and take these arms out, and they're going to go ahead and hold your phone or your small tablet. Today I'm going to use an iPhone. You can also use an Android. There are cables for both platforms. So I'm going to go ahead and put the phone in. So we've put our phone inside of the controller holster, and to start it up, you're going to double tap this power button. You're going to do it once, and then you're going to hold down the second tap, and that is going to turn it on, and you can see that it's made a connection with my phone. And before I even go into the app, you can see that it has a lot of the information already on the screen, which I think is awesome. Like I said, just in case the phone, dies or fails, you can see information about where it is, how much, battery you have left, important stuff. So it's the DJI Go 4 app, and you can see it's starting up. And I do have a connection, and there's my table right there, and so it's going to bring up your status. My firmware's updated to the latest firmware. It's going to give you a few things, and we already went over in a previous video the Osmo. It has the exact same menu options for most of it, obviously not flight because the Osmo can't fly, but you could do set max flight altitude, the distance, the compass. You would calibrate the compass before you start, which I'll actually show you how to do that right now. So you're going to go ahead and calibrate by hitting this button right here, and it's going to give you an option to start. And what it's going to ask you to do is, it'll give you a little diagram, and it says you rotate the drone, and you're actually going to rotate it fully 360 like this, and you see the yellow light on the back, and that yellow light will flash green. And then you put it facing straight down, do the exact same thing, 360 degrees, and that is calibrating the compass. And now you can see right here the light is blinking green, which means it has accepted the calibration for horizontal and vertical, and from there you are ready to go. So we just got done with our compass, and as you can see, the horizon has now straightened out because we've done our compass and calibrated it. And so I'm just going to go over a couple of the options that you see here. The green is ready to go GPS. When it's blinking red or yellow, you might not have a connection to the satellites, or there might be some sort of internal error going on. So you definitely want to make sure that's green and ready to go if you're flying outside. If you're flying inside, you might not have GPS, but you definitely don't want to have a red error going on there before you fly. So you talk about you have your satellites up here. Hang on. So next to your ready to go GPS, you have your satellites, which is the strength of the GPS. And you have your controller strength, the communication between the controller and the drone. You have your picture, which is actually the signal strength of the video picture coming in. And you have the percentage of your battery. So right here you have your manual and your autofocus. You can actually roll through between your infinity and your near, and you can also do an autofocus by setting this box to different locations. Just like that. And it'll go ahead and lock your focus. And this tells you the amount of time you have left, the capacity on your card, your micro SD card, and the resolution and frame rate. You can see your white balances. I have it on auto right now. Your exposure value is at +2 because it's a little hot. Your shutter's at 40 and your ISO is 1600. So on the right side here, you can see that this can go either in photo mode or video mode. So you can select it that way. And you have obviously your record button. And then inside of this, where you have the little 3 sliders, it's all about your camera modes and your settings. So in this first mode with the little shutter, you'll see that there's an auto mode and a manual mode. This lens does not have aperture, so the only adjustments that you can make here is between your ISO and your shutter, and that will control your exposure. And if you go to the top little camera button up there, you can see the video size, so you can go to your format. You can go anything from 720, you can go all the way up to 4K. And then video format between MP4 and MOV. A lot of this is very similar to the Osmo as well. Now that we're not talking specific flying modes, it's going to be almost identical to the Osmo. White balance, the style, picture profile, and then color. And then down here in the settings, you'll see a lot of things that can be on your menu: histogram, overexposure warning. You could do grids, and then inside here is how you format your SD card. And if you want to, you can reset all your camera settings. So on the bottom left, you'll see your map, and you can actually expand that and flop it in case you wanted to just see a map version of where you are, a GPS version of where you are. And then you can return back. So down here on the bottom left above the map, you're going to see that there is a little remote control, and that goes into your flight modes. And there's actually a really good amount of flight modes in here, but I just want to go over just a couple that I really like. The active track is good, you know, if you want to track a car or a person, and it can be tedious if you're trying to do it on your own to keep them right in the center. So active track works decently well. It gets a little hairy when you start to get into trees or very tight, tight spaces, and you don't fully see your subject, so sometimes it might lose it, but I think it's good for what it is. One of my favorite modes is tripod mode, and what that means is it reduces the sensitivity in your sticks so that you can do slower moves more confidently without having to barely touch the stick. You can move it forward or backward hard in one direction or the other, and it'll go very, very slow. So it makes slow moves much easier. So there's a few more. I'm not gonna go super in-depth to it, but you can do point of interest. You select a point and it'll rotate around it. You can do waypoints, which is really, really cool. You select waypoints, you can determine the speed that it goes, and select many waypoints and do a very complex shot over a distance. So flight modes are fantastic. So above that is the return to home button. You'll see it's grayed out because the drone is already at a landing position. And then there's the push to take off button, which you could do it two ways. You can either push to take off, or you can pull these two sticks down and towards you, and that will start the drone up. So that does it for the app. It's a fantastic drone, and let's see what this thing looks like in the air.
And that's the DJI Mavic Pro. My name is Chris with IPGRentals.com. Every Monday we drop a new video for you with tips and tricks about the gear that we offer. So like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, our gear, your vision, IPGRentals.com.